Hello, my crooks. As promised, this week we be reading chapters 5 through 8 of Spider-Man Mix. So, sit back, play a game, or start cleaning. Enjoy the story.
Spider-Man Mix Chapter 5. Villain Code Name, Jack. Peter can be seen swinging it throughout the city with Cindy right behind him. It was completely calm. There wasn't any crimes to stop, which was weird, but it was fine. Peter stopped at the top of a building. Cindy hugged him from behind. "Cindy, kiss me, I need it." Peter later, "And I know the feeling is killing me. Gwen on comms dash shut up and pick me up. Father told me that we can go home, but Peter, he wanted to talk to you." A few hours later, Peter was with George. "Peter, you need something?" "George, what your plan? Are you thinking of drop out and do your GDE instead?" Peter dash, "No, my plan is to get my diploma and find a job." "George, since no one can get a photo of you, why not work freelancer photography?" Peter then leaves and goes back to his house. Now is Saturday. Peter was seen at the door of the Daily Bugle. He goes in and says that he has photos of the Maked Spider. The front desk let him in. He went up the elevator, and when reaching, he can hear a man screaming to find a photo of the spiders. He goes to that man and drops an envelope with some photos. "Who the hell are you, and how did you get these?" Peter, "Hello, sire. I'm Peter Parker and have the picture of the masked spider, but I like the name Spider-Man." "That all garbage. We used this one, the photo of Spidey climbing up a side of a wall. The name is bad too, but better than masked spider. So how much you want? I can tell that you aren't licensed, so a freelancer." Peter, "Well, for the photos it will always be 300, but with a bonus with 1,000 for the name, so 1,300 in total, sire." "What, you crazy? Fine, Betty, give him the check." Peter does thanks him and Betty. He goes back home and bored and calls Cindy if she wanted to go somewhere. She had yes, but told him to give his address to her, which he does. Surprising to them, it was in the same building but different floor. Peter just lived on the top floor while she lived on the third floor. Their building has 8 floors in total. She ran to the elevator and when reaching his door and knocked. When Peter opened, they kissed very aggressively, and Peter closed his door, but to that Peter Luck came in and his phone rings hard. A few days earlier, there was an explosion happened to a building close to the city. There was bodies everywhere, they still being able to get recognized, and one person was missing, a nameless teen boy, but in the system his name was Jack. The building that blew up was an asylum, and Jack was known to kill people and animals, and but replace their heads with pumpkins and at times blow them up. You know, the usual thing for a teen do. Now back in present day, Peter and Cindy turn on the news and sees man wearing a flaming pumpkin with a flying broom. Peter and Cindy suit up. They got there, explosion everywhere. Peter, "Who are you, Jacko? I think it time for you to meet the devil back in the bar." "Ha ha 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 ha, I already did, you spider, and became the devil." Chapter 6, Spider? Not liking the heat, Spider-Man starts to swing higher than Jack to get the higher position in the air. Failing when Jack used his sickle to cut the web, then using his broom to tackle him with a pumpkin bomb point blank, just going full kamikaze to our hero. Silk shot out her webs and using them to grapple Jack. The only problem is that the webs were ignited, causing some burns to her hands. Peter sees that the police is here. Peter tells them to go back and get people in a 3 miles radius away from here. Peter goes and switch webbing for building that are in fire, using them mange to tie up Jack, but it doesn't work. The webs burn up 2x faster than what they are made for. Peter signals Cindy to get water. She leaves to find a powerful water source to combat the heat of Jack. Peter crawling and avoiding bombs and attacks from the sickle. "What wrong? Can't handle my hellfire." Peter, "Not even close. From what I can tell, your flames are in a small sparks before they go off." As he says this, Jack calls in his broom to charge Peter down, but the Spidey sense kick in and jump, but then he was the one riding the broom and deactivated by punch it and not holding back. With the punch, the force of it made a pothole. Jack's pumpkin mask stopped being on fire. Silk comes back with a fire truck and using the hose and blasting Jack. Peter switches his webs quickly to his taser web and shooting it and shocking Jack. Enough that it made him unconscious. Silk goes in the radio of the fire truck and told the fire department that Mr. Sparky is done. The next day, Peter went to school and notices that Gwen had a makeover. She used to dress nerdy geeky, but it was now that she dressed like she was MJ. Peter lipped talking to her, "Wow, you look amazing." Now, what happened? Gwen just rolled her eyes, trying to ignore him. Then it was end of class and Gwen was being surrounded, and this scared Peter a bit since he's still a fighting drive. He quickly grabbed her and rushed out. Gwen blushing, did someone get jealous? Peter just shakes his head, no, I'm still in my fighting high. In my mind, I thought you would be in danger. Gwen warps her hands on his face, "Don't worry, I'm fine, and how is Cindy?" Peter, she said that she just need a day off to heal her hands from the Jack attack. Gwen, oh yeah, the first supervillain for you, Spider. Peter, I just hope that we can keep it in the range of one hand to count. They continue school, and after school, Peter went to the bungle and gave us pictures, and Spider-Man, JJ, was fighting with Peter and why didn't came to him yesterday. For that he was about to give him 200, but Peter had a plan on what to tell him. Peter, well, the reason was when I got there, the police stopped me to be even close to it. Which, yes, that's their job, but I saw an alleyway that led me to the battle and wasn't guarded from the cops. It took me a while to get a perfect angle from a building that I was on, hoping that I don't get myself killed. So buy that 500 for it. He took it the deal. Chapter 7, Romeo. Peter just wakes up and remembers that he fell asleep in the base. He was working on his webbings. After the fight with Jack, he has made variable different kinds of webs. He made fireproof and lightning-proof and, lastly, being able to be cut. He calls school that he is running late, with the fact that traffic is always a liable excuse and with the destruction from the fight with Jack making even better. Peter was only 10 minutes late. He can see that Gwen was disappointed and looked on her face. He just sat down and wrote up all the notes that were available. His teacher ended the class with only 5 minutes left until the bell. "Gwen, Peter, where were you last night?" she said with a joke tone in her voice. Peter, firstly, don't say it like that. Second, I was at my home. Gwen, oh really? Oh, were you able to answer the phone? Peter was now wondering why she was asking that types of question. He looked around the class to see a boy who was staring at Gwen. Peter then gets up from his seat and grabs Gwen's hand. This all read the whole class. Gwen starts blushing. Peter could see that the kid looked pissed but didn't say anything. Picked up Gwen and dropped her off to her next class. But before leaving, he left a kiss on her cheek, the rushing to his class. Lunch. Peter was heading to his lunch period, but that same kid just screamed Peter's name. "Kid, Parker, what your relationship with Gwen?" Peter, she is my girlfriend, he mumbles in embarrassment. Flash sees that Parker is getting in front of this kid. Flash, puny, what going on here? Peter, oh, you do have a heart. Flash, I just see you doing nothing while a random guy called you out. If it was me doing that, you aren't scared to make your dumb one-liners, then what makes this gut different? Kid, I have named Flash, it's Sal Gargan. Also, I am just asking Puny if he dating Gwen, that it. Flash, Gargan, that right. The idoid who likes playing with bugs, remember Parker? Plus, aren't you dating Cindy? I saw you two after school getting very spicy. Peter, my relationship is none of your busy. Peter runs out with a completely red face. That when he bumps into his two lovers. Cindy, what happened? I heard that Scorpion came after you for about us. Gwen, what with your face? Why are you so red? Peter points at Cindy. Flash saw us going spicy at school. Cindy then blushes very hard. Gwen, what the hell are you guys doing? Peter, just basic kissing and some grabbing. Flash calls out Peter, you, Parker, what going on? Then he sees the two girls. Hey Gwen, snaps his fingers. Cindy, what your relationship with Parker? Cindy, why you care to begin with? Flash, curiosity got to me. Cindy, well, Peter want to tell him or what? Peter sighs, I love both Gwen and Cindy. They are both my girlfriend, my girlfriends. Cindy was a recent crush that I had, while Gwen is different case. I was in love with her when we were kids. Flash. I want to make them happy, both of them. He continuing to talk, then runs aways. Both girls are purely Fluttershy. While Flash was just shocked. Chapter 8. Peter could be seen on top of Bank Tower. He still remembers the confession that he made 8 hours ago. He was about to swing back home when he heard a glass break quite literally around the corner. When he set up the cameras to take pictures, he noticed that there was a man with a sound of something mechanical. When Spider got close, the mechanical sound then became clear. It was some scorpion tail. Hello, fellow arachnid, why you steal for? The tail starts to lunge out, with steel spike on the tip, like you need to understand, damn Spider, or should I say Pete. The tone of voice was similar to Peter. So, how you knew it was me? Coming out in a full black colored suit. Really, Pete, anytime you played hero in grade school, you couldn't choose a name. One of the names that kept coming to you was something with Spider. Now, leave me alone, I need the money. Peter felt embarrassed, but what he said was true. Why you need the money? I have something to do. It is very important. Just tell me, and I might be able to help. But before Sal could say anything, a whole police force came. Some even had some heavy-duty armor issues. Peter didn't see Captain Stacy. What to do? Peter stopped thinking as him and went full Spider. He webbed up the entire area and made a cocoon so they're only him and Sal. Sal, tell me the reason and make it quick. My father, he got sick when working at Oscorp, and they won't do anything. Plus, I learned that my father has some debt from the mob boss of Kingpin. I had to steal this suit from my father. How much for all of it? The debt is about $16K, and for his treatment. The bare minimum is around $67K. Peter thought about it. I think I can help you for both. I need to leave the money and meet me at the docks tomorrow around 9 p.m. Sal was hesitant, but Peter's tone the entire time was in a serious tone. He leaves with Peter's help by making a rope made of his webs till he can, leaving by the sewers. Meanwhile, outside, the police trusted in Spider-Man's judgment. When he came out with the cash, they saw Spider-Man clicked a button on his shooters, and all the webs started to dissolve. It only took 3 minutes, and they were gone. Peter was swinging and leaving his territory and enters Hell's Kitchen, where there were an explosion in a small building. Peter knew to check it out, that when he saw a familiar small group, but it seems that only 2 out of the 4 were fight. A man wearing a mainly black suit with some red accents, and a woman who just wearing basic street clothing as if just a citizen. Spider-Man land and webs up the people that they knocked out and helping by webbing the bombs so tight that they won't go off. The fighting was over. What happened to your red? Did you go to the dark side, or did Punisher get to you? Hello, Spider, this was a gift from Fist. Peter, in his first year of being Spider-Man, went and tried to the Defenders. As they were a small group that also started their career, it was actually Matt or Daredevil that helped with getting that deal with CPS. Danny, or Iron Fist, was his sensei, showed him the way to fight, and the one who helped him with his newly found strength. Daredevil would also help, you wouldn't believe it, but it him that helped with Spidey sense. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage didn't really help, but they really helped with his morality. Spider-Man knows Frank, but the Defenders, being a new family for Peter, agree that to never reveal his identity to Frank. Hello, Ms. Jones, I hope everything is going well. Yeah, kid, now spill why you are here. Well, I can't say it here, but I need the lawyer, he whispers. After an hour, they went to a diner that they like going. A waitress goes up to them. Peter, it is good to see you again. I hope that Maddie here is taking care of you. How is school? Close to reaching your senior year, right? Oh, Miss Gina, it good seeing you. And yeah, just one more year then off to who knows where. Can I get the usual Jessica cut and no coffee this time, just a water? Gina and Peter look at her shock. Matt is just giggling to himself. Yes, Ms. Jones. Matt opens his laptop. Okay, kid, now what happened? I have a schoolmate. He dressed up as a scorpion and was about to steal some money cause his father is sick because of Oscorp and having a debt with Kingpin. Matt, for the first problem I can handle, if your schoolmate can handle finding the right paperwork and tell them that I send Froggy to help with that. Jones, can you call Luke and Rand to handle the bastard? Now, Peter, what is his friend's name? I will send the information to Ms. Jones. Oh, and I have some news. I have 2 girlfriends. Jessica grabbed his hand and started to squeeze. Talk now. Peter couldn't get his hand free. Okay. I was hired to protect a friend of mine. You remember Gwen Stacy? Yeah, her. And then there's Cindy. She was also bit the same spider that also bit me. Right now, since we found each other recently, we are releasing some pheromones that are driving us crazy. But now it has died down. And don't worry, Captain Stacy will already do something to me if I hurt any of them. Jessica kept squeezing his hand. When we were going to meet them, damn, I knew that you might copy something from Danny. I was about to tell you guys at the annual monthly dinner. Jessica let go of his hand and handed him a small suitcase. A gift from Danny, a new suit. Danny wanted to add his color, but Matt stopped him, but I did the color. Go and test it when you go back home, but now, we eat. Matt, your plate is on your left, 2 o'clock from your laptop, and I have your cup of coffee, said Jessica. Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Peter is now in his base where Captain Stacy is sitting on the couch, sleeping. In front of him is some paperwork, something about Kingpin and his connection to Hydra. Peter opens the suitcase. Well, the suit does look interesting. So, it made with the same stuff as Maddie. Peter goes to his workplace and upgrades his web shooters, having ice, electric, and fire elements to web fluid. When George woke up, he saw Peter in his new suit. Full white. I didn't expect that. Where were you earlier? Some officers came when an attempted robbery, but you never showed. Oh, I was here doing some work. The Kingpin, the street lord, might be working with Hydra. And I don't want S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the credit for this one. We police force still matters. Well, that was 5 to 8. Next week will be questions. If you crooks have any questions, leave them in the comments. Either way, thank you for listening.